So, LA is the capital of odd jobs, and I've been here for 4 years now, so I've had my fair share. With the exception of the pizza place that stole what little soul I had left, I've worked basically only just strange one-off jobs. Like, I've dog walked, I've party entertained. Recently I did a stint as a standardized patient, which is where I showed up 3 times a week to play like I had mono, while doctors with cold hands like palpated my stomach and tried to diagnose me with submono. I found out that it's amazing how many doctors don't know the difference between hand soap and hand sanitizer, but it feels different. Very different. But maybe my most secure odd job has been working as a caterer in an Armenian event venue. And I'm not saying that Armenians are odd. They're just oddly specific. And their culture is very dense here in LA, so they've been able to hold on to their traditions, and they're awesome and interesting and fascinating, and they're great tippers. And so I've always had a good time working that job, and everyone's been really nice. And not recently, but pretty soon after I started working there, they offered me a position as lead server. And that's kind of like a shift supervisor, and another job, a shift supervisor. And I was hesitant to take this job because usually on my part-time jobs, I don't like to give more than I get. And it's like part-time for a reason. And also because leadership is kind of dangerous for my personality. Because I hate group projects. I'm that type of person. Now, if you're a person that likes group projects, God bless your soul. The people that don't like group projects, it's usually because they're like me, which is great at doing projects, really organized, good at telling people what to do, good at coming up with ideas, good at getting stuff done. But if you bring in your poster and your bubble letters aren't in line, I'm going to call you on it, and I'm going to take it home to finish it until 3 a.m. in the morning. That is the kind of person I am, and I knew that that's the way I would translate into a leadership position in my adult life, and it didn't make me many friends in college, so I didn't think it would work well as an adult either. But I said yes, and it wasn't long before I proved myself right, and I was like doing everything right, and all of my shifts were perfect, and the timeline was right on schedule, but I was also checking to make sure their hummuses aligned with the centerpiece correctly, and saying things like, Will, if you do not put the lid on the bread so that it dries out one more time, I swear to God, I'm gonna throw a fit. So I didn't make many friends there either, which is always bad for your self-esteem. Like, I don't like going to work in a place where I know everybody hates me, but I can't help it. I'm so OCD. But everyone was pretty nice until we hired Rafael. Rafael fits really well with his name. He doesn't let you down in that regard. He is a romance novel cover model. And he ferments his own alcohol, but he's completely sober. So I was always really confused by Rafael, and he was confused by me. We didn't get each other. Like, every time I told him to do something, he would look at me like I had 3 heads, and I could never get him to do exactly what I wanted because he'd always think he'd have a better way of doing it, and he would do it that way. And so there was a lot of confrontation. I didn't want there to be, but there was. And so he didn't like me very much. And one thing that really got me about Rafael was that he was always taking the party favors. Like, anytime there was leftover party favors, he was pocketing them, and he would always take the flowers at the end, and everybody does that now and then, but he would always do it. And he would always ask to take home the alcohol, and one night, the guests did not want us to throw away any bottles. They wanted to count the alcohol to make sure they had it all in order before they left, to make sure that nobody was stealing it, and they had all of their bottles so they could take them home. So I told Rafael, like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to take any of the alcohol home. We're going to have to keep it. And he was like, oh, okay. And then later there were 2 bottles missing. And my boss asked me what I thought happened to them. And I said, well, I don't think it was intentional, but Rafael was really interested in having some alcohol. He was kind of pushy about it, so maybe you should ask him if he thought, like, he maybe had taken some and thought it was okay. And she did, and he said no. And so I was like, okay, well, I have no idea. And I kind of took the fault for it, like that was on me. And later they looked at the video, and Rafael had gone into the bathroom with a duffel bag and 2 bottles of alcohol and came out with just a heavy duffel bag. And so I was like, proof, this guy's a total skis. And they slowly phased him out of the company, and I didn't really have to see him ever again. And I didn't really think about Rafael for a long time until I was in Hawaii. And I got this really, really super message on our scheduling app that made me think about Rafael one more time. It said this. It said, now, mind you, this is on our scheduling app, so this is like my boss can see this. I don't know why he posted it here. You're the most pretentious know-it-all. I'm better than you, typical actress we've ever worked with. People don't give you the feedback you actually deserve because if they would be completely honest, it would make you cry. Go fuck yourself, Alex.
Oh, God.
And that bit of feedback did make me cry. I was really, like, that still, like, upsets me. I can't believe that someone would think that and say that to my face or in a message that I have proof of. But I think the reason why it hit me so hard is because it's based in all of my insecurities. And now, every time I am the lead of a shift, I always think everybody hates me. And I think when they're over in the corner, they're talking about me. And it makes work really unpleasant. Because the meanest things that people say about you aren't the meanest things that anyone's ever said. They're just the ones that are based in truth. Thank you.